there is still so much stigma attached to being admitted to a dementia unit, and so many challenges that the dementia resident has to rise above, and many people succumb to social anxiety as a result, which is very challenging, difficult and demanding for dementia residents having social anxiety in a dementia unit, because it's socially so compressed. It's crowded, there's hardly any room, especially at the dining area, to sit down with, say, 30 other people in a congested space, hardly any elbow room, let alone being able to manoeuvre your walker around the place. And then there's staff everywhere, meals being served, people talking over and above each other, lots of noise. And it can be really agitating. I mean, if you're already anxious, which chances you are, if you've got dementia and newly admitted, you know, your mind's spinning, you're worried, you're uptight, then in a dining area where it's so compressed and so congested, it can just send you right into a spin. So these aspects really need to be understood for your relative. That if they've been living alone, say out in the country somewhere, they find it difficult even to accept visitors. It's difficult enough even for some people in New Zealand, if you're living on your own nice, quiet place somewhere, you don't even like people popping in out of the blue. And that's just one person, let alone subjected to, excuse me, 30 people every meal, breakfast, lunch and dinner. That's a lot of people to have to adjust to. And it's an ongoing thing. It's every day, 7 days a week, every day of, every day of the year. So yeah, it's a lot. It's so much to adjust to. I mean, just the unit alone is difficult to adjust to. The new space, the new routine, the new staff, all the residents are strangers. Where's your bedroom? Where's your bathroom? What's the routine? What's happening at lunch? When is dinner? On and on, And often difficulty, if you have difficulty communicating, of course, being unable to ask questions clearly, then of course not getting the answers as a result. So it's just compounding anxiety. So at the dining area, and especially if you're not a social person, you don't really like chatting too much, you don't like being amongst a whole lot of strangers, and then especially having to eat your food amongst strangers when you're feeling anxious and uptight. Yeah, it's hard. You lose your appetite actually, you don't want to eat. And then what happens is the staff are encouraging you to eat because they don't want you to lose weight. Because if you lose weight and it gets on the charts and the doctor sees that, the families won't be happy about it. So it's just like a vicious circle. So really, it just needs to be looked at from the dementia resident's perspective. If they're social, if they're friendly, if they're at a table with 3 other ladies they like, and they don't mind chatting and they don't mind eating, and it's all camaraderie, fun and whatever, then that's good. That's fine, no problem. But if your mother or father is anxious, maybe they were even anxious before they came into the dementia unit, now they'll be more anxious being in the actual place. If you can see they're anxious, it's just a good idea really to come in at mealtime and have a meal with your mother, even, once a week for a few weeks, once she's first admitted, to be able to see how she's going. And if you're finding that she's withdrawn, she's shut down, she's not communicating with the other ladies, just assess the situation and see what you think is best. I mean, whether it's worth her persevering at that table and hopefully making friends with the ladies there. And you'll see when you're there whether you can garner friendliness or interest with them. And if they're generally friendly, nice ladies, then you can encourage your mother to stay there and persevere with the communication and help and encourage her to communicate with the women while you're there. But if you're finding that one of the residents, say at the dining table with your mother, is short, terse, and a bit, anti, chances are when you're not there it will be more so. And if you've heard from your mother that the lady's not very nice, it is worth going to the staff about it, because dementia residents can be moved to other tables, and it's a good idea if they're with someone who is, a little bit aggro or unpleasant, then you don't want your mother exposed to that, especially if she's already anxious. So if she can be moved to another table with other people, hopefully that will work out better. And also at a table that's further away from the general dining area. That's always a great help, because the main congestion is with the dining areas close to the serving area. Whereas if you go away more towards the lounge room, it will be quieter because there's not so much noise and congestion of staff and the clatter of plates and cutlery, etc. So it's quieter, and she'll just be on the rim, so she hasn't got tables all around her. So that's also a way of reducing the social anxiety at meal times. So I've written about these topics. There's many aspects to it, but I've written about these topics and more in the two books, The Resident's Voice and The Resident's Rise, both on Amazon and my website, description below. And thank you for your interest and subscribing.